After that massive win over the Chiefs Sunday that improved their record to 6-2, Bills fans were wondering if their team might try to add some offensive reinforcements at the deadline this past Tuesday. Bills GM Brandon Beane spoke to the media Wednesday, trying to reason with Bills Mafia and exude confidence in his own players.
Believe me, I went home as mad as any other fan, or as mad. Like, I wanted to do things. I'm always wanting to do things to make this team better. But I also believe in our roster too. And I do believe we can win a championship with this roster. But as I said earlier, I cannot force someone to trade me a player. It takes two. Candidly, I would have lost money yesterday on the Bills doing a move, like if you were in Vegas.
I love our team. I believe we can win, and the reason is we've got guys who are buying into playing as a team, playing for one another. We've got a culture that's ripe and a coaching staff that knows how to develop players. Do we have some holes due to some injuries? We do, and it's frustrating. But that's also where young guys have to step up. So that's how I see it.
He's got a fresh new haircut and he's feeling feisty. He's Canada's favorite tight end, Luke Willson. Hey, buddy, great to see you. Hey, your Seahawks, they picked up some help. Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. Jags traded for Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. You and I talked about the need for the Bills to acquire some sort of offensive weapon to supplement this offense. They did not do that. Do you believe what Beane believes, what McDermott believes, that this team can win with what they have?
I do believe that, Jay, and I think they can win with what they have. But how many times, Jay, have you heard me talk about, winning in the NFL comes down to a margin of error. And by adding Jacoby Myers or by adding Rashid Shaheed, that margin of error for Buffalo increases. And listening to what the GM just said, if there's a time to overpay at a trade deadline, it's right now. Kansas City has a lot of question marks, and they are obviously record-wise struggled a bit. The rest of the AFC, including the Baltimore Ravens, has struggled. If there is a moment to go all in, push your chips in, and try and win a Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills, it is right now. So I wouldn't have even minded if they overpaid to get those guys or somebody on defense. And again, do I believe, Jay, that they can still win? Absolutely. I mean, anybody who watched Josh Allen play last week and has a brain thinks that this team can win because he's that good at football. But I wish they just got something to make that margin of error a little greater so that you don't need a stellar, unbelievable performance by Josh to win. So that's where my head goes. Do I think they can win the Super Bowl? Yes, I think they have a roster that can do it. But I think their margin of error is still very slim, and I have questions about the defense.
Speaking of defense, the Colts got a great one in Sauce Gardner, nabbing him from the Jets on deadline day. Their odds to win the Super Bowl, Luke, went from 13-1 to 10-1. However, Danny Jones didn't look so great this past weekend. 5 turnovers. Are you still buying stock on the Colts for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I am, Jay. I got to tip my cap. I did think that Pittsburgh played their best defensive game of the year, and they really put Daniel Jones under pressure a crazy amount, whether it was hurries, whether it was pressure, whether it was the sacks. Jonathan Taylor also didn't have the games that he's been having, but I still believe in this Colts organization right now. I still believe in this offense, and I believe in Indiana Jones. I think he's going to right the ship. And I'll say this. We just talked about the Bills. A lot of people would say the Colts overpaid for Sauce Gardner. But clearly, they are willing to do that. And that defense now with Charcavius Ward and Sauce Gardner has now become a strong point. Add that on to what the offense has done all year, minus last week, and look out in the AFC. So, again, I like the move. I understand they gave up a lot. But I love when teams go all in saying, we're going to try and get one this year.
Okay, we finally saw, Luke, all 5 first-round quarterbacks from the 2024 draft play last weekend, on the field last weekend. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, Drake Maye. Unfortunately, it's a one-week occurrence because because Jaden Daniels got injured. But Drake Maye is now the second choice to win NFL MVP this year behind Josh Allen. What are the chances that Maye tops that list of 5 quarterbacks by the end of the season? And out of those 5 quarterbacks, Luke, who's your favorite quarterback?
Yeah, I think there's a decent shot. You know, there's a lot to be untold. This is going to sway every week. I would say this. If Drake Maye and the Patriots win this division, you've got to give them the MVP. You know, it's one of those things where even if Josh has slightly elevated numbers than Drake Maye at the end of the year, especially if New England beats Buffalo down the road, so beats them twice and wins the division, I think Drake Maye's got a legitimate shot. I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes is always in the conversation, but that's another one where if they don't win the division, it's tough for me to give a guy an MVP. And then, of course, the dark horse here is how will Jonathan Taylor's year finish? Jay, nothing would make me happier to see a non-quarterback win MVP. Shout out Adrian Peterson. So I think Drake Maye's got a legit shot, and he controls his own destiny with that. If they keep winning and they win this division, I think it's going to be a very, very good chance that he gets it.
Can you imagine just going back in a time machine, if he wins MVP, going back at the beginning of the season, just saying, hey, by the way, Patriots fans, Drake Maye's going to win MVP this year? Like, it would blow people's minds, Luke.
Blow their minds. And you got to give your flowers to Mike Vrabel and that entire staff, because at the end of last season, Jay, you're sitting there thinking we're going to be bad for a very long time. And look at them now. Again, just kind of goes to show you how important coaching is in the NFL.
We're looking forward to chatting with you after the Thursday nighter, buddy. Haircut looks great. We'll talk to you then, okay?
Sounds good.
And don't forget, speaking of coaching being important, Luke's best pal, Pete Carroll, and the Raiders up against Sean Payton and the Broncos. The odds, courtesy of FanDuel. This will kick off Week 10 on the network. Broncos are the favorite. Denver's won 6 straight. Our show will immediately follow the game.